morning, kids. What time is it?
Hey, it's 2 for 1 week at Daredevil Born Again. For some reason, Disney decided to air 2 episodes this week. Not sure why. But it did turn out to be a great decision because one of the episodes is not very good at all. So lucky that the other episode is good. So it would have been a horrible week to watch the second kind of bad episode in a row because, like I said, the fourth episode last week wasn't that good, and it would have been really horrible for me for the outlook of this series for me if I had to watch another bad episode. But did get saved by a really good episode as well. Again, I'm not sure why they decided to air these 2 episodes in 1 week. I do know that with this schedule, the finale, episode 9, is supposed to be coming on the week before and/or season 2 premieres. So maybe they wanted to make sure that the finale for this show wasn't going to be at the same time as the start of and/or season 2. I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. I'm not sure why, but I'm very glad that they decided to do this because so I could watch the good episode along with a not so good episode. So episode 5 is basically just an attempted bank heist. Like, that's the whole episode. It's just the whole episode is just an attempted bank heist, and not really related to the main story of this season of this show. So I'm not really sure how it fits in. I'm very confused at this episode. So you get Matt Murdock in a bank at the beginning of the episode. He's trying to get a loan for the law firm, and he meets with the assistant bank manager, who happens to be Kamala Khan's father. Again, don't know why Disney tries to shove this character, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, at us every chance it gets, because nobody likes that character. So I don't get why they're trying to do this, and maybe that's the whole point of this episode, just for that. The best lines of the episode is actually when Mr. Khan talks about his daughter, and he talks about Miss Marvel, and Matt kind of like looks at him like, he expects Matt to know who she is, and Matt kind of looks like, nope, no idea, which pretty much reflects what all of us feel too. And he gets turned down for the loan. He walks away from the bank, and gets on the phone with Kristen, his law partner, and tells, no, it was no go. I couldn't get the loan. Maybe we'll get it somewhere else. Then with his enhanced hearing, he hears that there's something going on at the bank. He's like a couple of blocks away by now, but he can hear that there's something going on, attempted bank robbery, and he turns around to go help. He's still on the phone with Kristen, and he basically tells her, just call 911, hurry, and then that's it. And he runs off to the bank. So I don't know how that makes any sense at all, because for all she knows, he just witnessed a car crash or someone getting assaulted in front of him on the streets, because he doesn't give her any other information about the bank or anything like that. So as far as I know, Kristen doesn't have any telepathic powers, but maybe we'll find that out. So I have no idea how she knows what to say to the 911 call. It probably would have been better. No, it definitely would have been better if in the 30 seconds that it takes him to get back to the bank, that he made the 911 call and gave them all the pertinent information before going back in. So he goes back to the bank. He wanders in, pretending he doesn't know what's going on, so he can be one of the hostages and be on the inside there. They take him hostage along with everyone else that was in the bank. The gang leader, that they're all hooded in different colored hoods. The leader of this would be robbery gang. I believe his name is Devlin. He tells one of his men to take the Mr. Khan, the assistant bank manager, down to the vault to get it open. Mr. Khan insists that he can't get the vault open, which is is right. That's I don't think one person can get it open just because of this, just to foil bank robberies. But it doesn't matter. They just they threaten him. They send him down. Meanwhile, Matt convinces one of the other men, one of the other would-be robbers, that he needs to go to the bathroom. The guy goes ahead and takes him to the bathroom, and as soon as they're isolated, Matt takes him out, Daredevil style. He then goes and finds Mr. Khan with the other bank robber at the vault. He takes him out as Mr. Khan's being threatened, and then Matt proceeds to open the vault himself, because with his enhanced hearing, he can hear where the tumbler just hits at the right numbers. He gets the vault open. He searches the bank robber's clothes for a key. He finds a key and figures out that the key opens the deposit box inside the vault that they're looking for. They open the box and they find this little bag with looks like an orange, really good-looking orange gem, and that must be what they're after. So Matt goes back up to where the other hostages are being held, and he offers the leader there, he's going to give him the gem as long as he lets all the hostages go and everybody gets what they want. But then he hears, again with his enhanced hearing, he hears that the police getting ready to crash into the bank to just take everybody out. Just as the police come in, Matt throws the bag up in the air to distract the robbers. The police comes in, they throw a smoke bomb in there. Matt takes out another robber. The police take care of everybody else. The leader, Devlin, is able to grab the bag with the gem in it that Matt threw up, and then he also uses the confusion to disguise himself. Like he changes into a cop's uniform, and he's able to walk out of the bank unnoticed. But before he does that, he hands the bag with the gem to one of the hostages, who's obviously there as a red herring, was not a hostage, was in on the robbery itself. So he hands the bag to one of the hostages and walks away. Unfortunately for him, Matt knows who he is, despite what no one else can see. He follows him into an alley and then takes him out in a very short but brutal fight. You could hear very loudly the guy's leg breaking when Matt breaks his leg. He most likely won't walk again. And then you have this scene with the would-be hostage that supposedly has the gem. When I say supposedly, is that he takes what she thinks is a gem out of the bag, and it turns out to be a candy wrapped in an orange wrapper, which Matt had switched out the gem for it, and then so no one gets away with it. That's why I say would-be robbery, because nothing happens. None of this gets accomplished. The next day, Matt returns to the assistant bank manager and brings back the gem. And he still doesn't get his loan. So, again, I don't see any point to this episode at all. Very badly written. It has nothing to do with the main storylines of the season at all. As a matter of fact, if anyone hasn't even started watching this show, you could easily skip over episodes 4 and 5, and you won't miss a thing. That's my recommendation, because I wish I had known that. Again, nothing gets done, and that's the end of the episode. Luckily, though, episode 6 was a banger, and I'm so glad they aired it, because right after I saw episode 5, I went right to 6 and got the bad taste in my mouth of episode 5, and that was a pretty good episode. So it starts off with Angela comes and visits Matt. Angela is Hector Ayala, the White Tiger's niece. She comes and visits Matt to tell him that before he got killed, her uncle was investigating a series of disappearances down by the subway. It was I believe it was track 61, they say. There's quite a high number of people disappearing. and that's what the White Tiger was investigating, which makes me think that back then, makes me think that a great introduction kind of the white of Hector Ayala wearing the White Tiger outfit would have been him actually finding Muse, the serial killer, who's obviously responsible for the disappearances, and having a fight with him, and maybe after a brutal fight, then being taken out by Muse, instead of the way he went with just someone coming out of the shadows and just shooting him out of the blue. That probably would have been the better way to introduce Muse to this show, but whatever. So she tells Matt this. Matt tells her there's really nothing he can do. He only does things. The only thing he can do is fight for justice in the courtroom. Leave it up to the police, which obviously she's not very happy about. And she leaves, giving him the impression that she's going to take matters into her own hands, aka continuing on her uncle's investigation. And this may be a precursor to her taking on the mantle of the White Tiger sometime in the future. So she leaves, and then we see Wilson Fisk, the kingpin. He gets told by the police chief and his advisors that there is all the murals that have been springing up all over the city or all over town are actually being painted with human blood, and then the DNA analysis of these murals tells them that there's been at least 60 victims, and of course that corroborates what Angela was saying, that there's a lot of people gone missing, and there's obviously a serial killer out there. So his response is, this gives him his perfect excuse to form this task force made up of these handpicked cops, which he personally picks them because they're the cops that kind of like operate outside the law. They use excessive force. They basically dirty cops. They go way above and beyond what the law allows them to get done. But that's who he handpicks to have this task force, and he puts this task force not just to go after the serial killer. This is going to be some the what he uses to go after all vigilantes. And you could see that where this is leading to, where they're going to eventually go after Daredevil, Punisher, maybe some other costume vigilantes. But that's he basically uses the excuse of the serial killer being out there, Muse, to get this task force together. He gives them special privileges. He even says they're not going to wear body cams, so nothing they do is going to be recorded to be used against them. So they're going to be able to get away with whatever they need to do. Basically, be a bunch of versions of him, brutalizing people, doing whatever they wanted to do to get what they want, to get the object. To get to the object of what they want, and he's going to use them to take over the city, I'm sure, in terms of like, I think the main purpose is to go after costume vigilantes and do whatever else that he feels like having them do. And then we go back to, so Angela's mother calls Matt, and it's very late at night, and tells him that she hasn't shown up. And she's afraid of what's going on. She, with all those people missing, she's afraid that she might be in danger. And Matt realizes exactly what's happened. That she went and continued on the White Tiger's investigation, looking into this serial killer. And then you see Muse having taken her, knocking her out, and bringing her back to his lair and hooking her up to the machine that drains his victims from the blood, so that he can use to paint his murals. Then he hears this sound outside of his lair, down in the subways, and he goes to investigate. And you this really cool shot where Matt, full Daredevil finally we see him in full Daredevil costume. We haven't seen this since, like, I think the first episode. Before that, we even see him getting through the city, getting through using his the billy club and cords to fly through the city, a lot like what Spider-Man does. And you see this cool scene with him coming right at Muse from far away, like before, just as Muse realizes what's happening. Matt is completely on top. There's no like preamble at all to this fight. He just comes out right at him and just starts attacking him. There's like a really great fight between the two of them. Really great choreography. And the show goes back and forth. There's like this duality. There's dual fights going on. It goes back and forth between this fight and not quite a fight, but more like a beating of Kingpin going to where he has Adam captive. Adam, like the guy who Vanessa had an affair with. He kind of lets Adam out of the cage so he can kind of like go at him, and of course it's not really a fight. It's more like the Kingpin letting out all his not frustrations, but like him holding back all this time about not being the Kingpin, not being like someone who takes on people. Like he just takes it all on this guy, beats the heck out of him. I believe he pretty. It looks like he just beats him to death, and it goes back and forth between the two fights, and there's this great duality where we actually see, despite everything that's happened so far of the show, where Matt claims, I'm not going to be Daredevil anymore. He has no choice but to be Daredevil. Same thing with Wilson Fisk. He's like, I'm not going to be that guy anymore, not have anything to do with criminal organizations and not being, violent towards people. He has no choice but to be the Kingpin, and you could see that in both of these fights. So Matt pretty much takes care of Muse pretty easily. You don't really see any of the special abilities from Muse that he has in the comic book. So I don't know if Muse is holding back just to try to study Matt, and then for future encounters, or they're just not gonna have him be like the Muse in the comic books. Like you don't see any kind of like extra strength or agility, or you definitely don't see his ability to absorb sensory information so that Matt can't track him down or anything like that. So Matt pretty much just takes him out, and it's a really great fight scene. So he knocks him unconscious, or he thinks he does, and he goes rushing to unhook Angela from the machine that was draining her blood, and revives her, saves her just in time so that she doesn't die. And then he turns around and he sees where he thought he had Muse taken out, and Muse is gone. He obviously had revived and just slipped away. So obviously we're going to see a lot more of Muse. This isn't the end of it. As a matter of fact, I have heard that he's going to be a main antagonist even in the next season. I don't know if you call it season 2 of Daredevil Born Again or season 5 of Daredevil, but he's actually going to be around not just the rest of the season, but the next season. So we'll see what happens, whether he does come back with his enhanced abilities, or how he fights Matt in the future. And that's it. This episode 6, especially the last 10 minutes when you see the dual fighting between Daredevil and then the Kingpin beating up on Adam. Those are probably the best 10 minutes of the whole season so far. And I personally think this episode has been the best episode so far. I just hope people stick with this series and start watching this, because it's really getting good now, and it looks like they're really ramping up to end this in a great fashion. I hope it keeps going like this. Don't forget, we still have Punisher still out there, and I think he's gonna make more appearances. Probably Muse is gonna come back, and we're gonna see what the Kingpin's task force is gonna be up to. I think this show is really gonna end well, and I'm so glad I got this episode 6. It's so great, especially the ending of it. And you do see Matt becoming Daredevil again, and Wilson Fisk become Kingpin again, and here we go as we ramp up to the end of the season. So that's it for me. The first episode 5, the best I can do is give it a 4, and it's only that high because of all the great scenes that Matt is in. That's about it. I wouldn't give it much higher than that. And this last episode, episode 6, I'm going to give it a solid 9. I'm almost tempted to give it a 10, but not quite. Give it a solid 9 because it was that good. So that's it for me this time. Please leave me a comment what you think, especially about this last episode 6. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some GeekTime swag? Check out the merchandise available in the GeekTime TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share GeekTime TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.